Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the October 2nd edition of the Hughes Sports Podcast. I am your host, of course, Jake Hughes. Alongside me, after a couple weeks missing, the old man. Old man, how the hell are you doing?
1 week, wasn't it? 2 weeks?
2 weeks? You were gone? Yeah, you were gone for over 14 days.
Did I miss 2 shows?
You missed 2 shows. I did one by myself, and I had DJ join me last week.
What do I know? Hey, it's good to be back. I've got to apologize in advance because I am exhausted. I'm fighting to go to sleep.
Just so people know, literally landed yesterday evening.
Yeah,
from
4:30 our time.
Yeah, and was a 13-hour flight, 14-hour flight?
No, 10-hour flight.
Sorry, only a 10-hour flight.
10
and
hours.
An 8-hour difference of time. So for him, it's like 3:00 in the morning.
It's definitely not early.
So we're gonna go through this. If the old man kind of just stares off into the camera for 30 seconds or more, I'll just move on because his brain doesn't always work. Are we gonna make this announcement right now?
We were literally talking about it when you hit the button to go live.
Yeah, because all of a sudden you said it's 7. I was like, right, quick, go.
It was like, I don't know. I think we should start this off with a huge effing bang.
All right. Well, if you've been paying attention to social media, there have been some tweets talking about next week having a very special guest.
Huge.
In those tweets, I was actually putting
up.
Huge. He's tall. He's pretty tall.
But he's not fat.
No, he's not fat. He's just tall.
Okay, well, let's make sure people understand. We're not going to have some fat guy on our show. I'm the only fat guy allowed on the show.
It's fair.
No, that's not the right answer.
He is a very prominent figure in Vancouver in the sports scene. Next week, we are going to have the honor of having Matthew Sakaris join us live or join us on the show to discuss the upcoming Vancouver Canucks season, how things are going with him and Blake Price with the Sakaris and Price show. And generally, this is probably the most excited I've been about a guest. I think I say that about every guest we get because each guest we get has kind of been a stepping stone into bigger and bigger people we have. It's true.
This one's big for you because you have listened to Matt since you were just a little guy.
Well, I wouldn't say just a little guy. They've only been doing the show for like 13 years, but I've been listening to them for about 12.
You were just a little guy back then.
Yeah, I was 12 years ago. Yeah, I was 18. Yeah. Little guy.
Do I need to go and grab some pictures of you?
First off, when I was 18, that's when I started putting on the figure.
That's probably true.
But yes, next week we are going to be joined with Matt Sakaris. We're going to, again, ask his opinion about what the view on the Canucks, maybe throw in a couple BCLions questions. And if you guys have any questions for us, drop them in the comments in YouTube. I'm going to make an event on Facebook, so you guys are able to ask questions in there as well. We'll be able to relay the questions to Matt as well.
DJ Streams.
That is DJ. He came in here to fill your gigantic feet.
Nice. He says, "Welcome back, old man." Thanks, DJ.
And since you've been gone,
isn't there another DJ? No? Am I confused?
Yeah.
Don't we have 2? What's the other listener that we have?
That's just D. That's D.
Oh, D. Sorry. Okay.
There's DJ and D. I got where you were going there. I
didn't want to give you the full clue.
Yeah. No, we got there. The brainwaves connected. It's been a couple weeks since we've really talked, so that's
Yeah, it has. That's probably like the longest we've gone without talking since probably
since I went to Germany.
Yeah. Well, probably when I was on the cruise to the Panama Canal was probably then too, and that was 2019.
Yeah, probably.
And that was 15 days.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But
people, Jake and I talk almost daily.
Well, we don't. To be fair, we don't normally talk. I had to think my thoughts through here. we don't really talk on the phone. Like what people, we
No,
don't get on a
we
group.
chat.
We chat. We
We
chat in
chat. We
text.
get on this thing.
We do the dooba dooba dooba.
Yeah. The dooba 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 dooba.
How was your Euro trip?
It was fan freaking tastic. It really was. The history in Europe, people who haven't been to Europe don't understand the history of Europe or in Europe. You went to Germany, so you get it. You were in Germany for 3 months. You get the history. Canadians that haven't been out of the country or Americans who haven't been out of the country don't get that kind of history.
Not even out of the country, even just out of, I would say North America, but I include Mexico in North America because you're supposed to. Outside of Canada and the United States, because Mexico has some very great history. There's a lot of nations that have great history, but Canada and America is so new in comparison to everything, to what we know it as, because we just came through and destroyed everything.
I was sitting today thinking about the trip we took, and like I go to a 1,000-year-old monastery in Barcelona. I drive by a place where Julius Caesar was murdered. Like they know the spot. They pointed it out. I was just like, whoa.
Well, and like there's castle, like some of the castles I went to when I was in Germany, they're so old that they don't know when they were built.
Yeah.
They're literally like, yeah, this was here when we showed up. We don't know when it was built.
Probably the biggest highlight, the two biggest highlights for history would have been Rome and seeing the Colosseum, which blew me away because it's way bigger than I thought. And there's way more of it.
Fair. Did you guys go into the Colosseum or no?
No, we didn't have time. When you're on a cruise, you only have a day.
Yeah.
So you just don't have time. I mean, I guess we could have, but then we would have missed other things.
Everything. You would have missed everything else you got to experience.
Yeah, and we were on a hop on, hop off bus, which we did a lot of in a lot of the places because we'd never been there before, so it was a good way to see everything. And
if you guys are going somewhere and they're like, "Oh, this seems cool," you can just hop off and you're good.
Exactly.
Wait for the next bus to come around.
Well, and that was a problem in Rome, was it was so busy. That was the biggest thing I took away from Europe, is how freaking busy it is. And the roads are like that narrow. And I got to tell you, those people drive like maniacs. They have these little scooters. They don't have rules on the road. I'm guaranteed, because I've seen them go by cops. They don't get pulled over, and they can do anything they want. They zig and zag and they zoom. And I was like, what the and they kept making me sit in the front of the taxi. Those taxi drivers are crazy, Jake.
I think it's just they're confident in where they're going, especially the taxi drivers in some of these places. I think it's very different. There's a lot of traffic circles, and I know your opinion on traffic circles.
Fucking hate them. Oops.
To be fair, I understand why you hate them. They weren't a thing when you were growing up. Now in your old age, you're like, Arr. They're the best way to do things.
Get off my lawn.
Exactly.
So anyway,
you're starting to sound like the people on Facebook being like, the horn ruined the viewing experience.
So Dom says, there goes your European audience. Because we have such a huge viewing, and I actually told people about our show in Europe, so you never know. So Rome was a real cool place, and I got to see the Colosseum and walk through St. Peter's Square, which was really, really cool. Then the other place would be Pompeii.
Pompeii would be super cool to go to.
I mean, you figure that this city was buried in 79. Yes, 2 digits, 79 AD. And they've uncovered...
he's not shortening it down, being like 79. Yeah, 1979. No, 79 AD.
Yeah. They've uncovered 80% of this city. And it's just incredible. Like, they had lead pipes. They had running water in the buildings. It was... What got me, what really stuck in my head was they had lead pipes in 79, 0079. We didn't realize how bad lead was until, like, in my lifetime. They still had lead in the paint. It's like, interesting. They also had a brothel.
Of course they did. It's the world's oldest profession.
The brothel on the outside structure had, can I say penises? Will they kick us
You
off
just
the air?
did. You just did. So
They had
to be fair, it's our
penises.
air. We can say whatever we want.
No, because we're on Facebook today.
All right. Ooh.
So, anyways,
We've already said it. We've already said it twice. So
they had the male parts hanging off the buildings, so people knew what it was, because a lot of people came to the city that didn't speak the same language. So, anyways, yeah, it was really cool. I mean, the cruise is a cruise. It's freaking just cool to cruise.
I was gonna say it's luxury it's a luxury resort on the sea.
Yeah, it's cool, but it was fun. It's good. But to be honest, I'm glad we're home. 15 days is a long time to be away. I'm glad to be home. Glad to be back at it. Let's talk sports.
Now, I was going to ask you.
Oh,
did you watch a lot of sports? Did you keep up with the sports?
I tried to. Like, obviously, I got the scores and whatnot and all the news. But with a time difference, I woke up one morning. I actually set my alarm for 5 o'clock to be able to listen to the Lions game. Should I go on a rant now, or should I save it?
No, I think you should go on a rant now. I feel like the fans have been deprived of an old man rant for a little while.
So here I am, not in Canada, not able to get TSN, not able to watch football on TSN.
Continue.
So I think, no problem. They've got CFL Plus. I can watch it there. No. Couldn't. No way to watch it. The ship didn't have CBS, so there's no way to watch it.
Oh, because it was on CBS Sports Network.
It's in the States.
But I thought the entire point of CFL Plus was that even in Europe you could watch it.
I guess Italy, France isn't part of that. I don't know, but they wouldn't let me. I was pretty frustrated. But I was able to log on to my radio player.
And get the radio.
And listen to the BCLions broadcast, which was always fun because those guys are hilarious. If you've never listened to a game on the radio, listen to a BCLions game. Listen to
Caravetta and Bob Marjanovic, probably two of the best.
Yeah.
Was this the game? Was this this week's game against the Riders?
Yes.
Okay, so I had a football game, last minute football game Friday. So I'm like, Jake, can you do this? Yeah, cool, whatever. Get in the vehicle, and it's just about kickoff. So I'm like, cool, I can listen to the radio. I'm getting home as the interception was thrown that they determined was incomplete. After review, they determined it was incomplete. I thought, what's his name? I'm terrible with names. Not Marjanovic. Caravetta was going. It sounded like me and you were calling the game, and it's fun because they need to be biased and they are biased. But he was like, "How in the hell are you calling that an interception?" And I was like, "I need to I'm literally parked outside, so I'm sure the dogs were freaking out of your house, being like, I can go inside and watch it, but I'm interested to see his reaction to everything."
And you've got the sideline reporter is
Paul
McCallum, which he has no business being a sideline reporter. They fired him on the air. He was suspended. They gave him a red card. I was laughing so hard. But yeah, so I did keep up with the news. Obviously I still had Facebook and I still had Twitter and
that's one thing I wanted to discuss on the podcast publicly in front of everyone. All right, you're going on vacation. You're trying to take a step away from everything and relax. And what do these two lovely human beings who are in my life do? They take pictures as if they're 13-year-olds and photo dump every day and talk about their day on it. And the entire time, literally, I'm sitting at home. I'm like, just do one giant photo. Just do one giant photo dump.
That's what we did.
One giant photo dump at the end of the cruise.
Oh no, we did that daily. Do you know how many pictures we have in that album?
Yeah, I'm aware. I saw them every day because Facebook is like, oh, you sometimes comment on these people. Here's all their pictures. see them 3 times a day.
We actually had people liking every picture.
Oh, goodness.
So you can
You know what?
imagine what that would do to your phone.
Well, and my big thing is when I go away, like I'm going away in 16 days to Vegas, I'll have my phone on so if I get separated from the friend I'm going with, I'll be able to message him. But if you guys start messaging me, I'm literally just going to turn off my data and say, sorry, no one's home. Like, I'm there to get away from reality and away from everything.
We got what they call orange SIM cards. Yeah.
Orange SIM cards?
Yeah, they're orange.
Okay.
Is the name of the company, and they're only for Europe. And it was like $60 for a 20 gig orange SIM card.
Oh, that's
So
not bad.
we put these in our phone. I figured out how to do it. And all of a sudden we had 30 gigs. They give us an extra 10 gigs.
Not going to complain about that.
Yeah, so I mean I only used 2. It's not like I used a whole lot because we're on the ship and we had Wi-Fi.
It's just the last time we went on a cruise, I think it was before the smartphone revolution.
Oh God, yeah, because we would leave our phones in the
we put them in the safe.
Yeah, or at home. Do you remember the rule? Like drop your phone on the shelf.
Always. Like, yes. And that's where my brain is at on vacations. It's like I don't need, like, again, if I'm going with a group of people, it's always nice to have data and have service just to text, be like, hey, like if I wake up early or if I wake up later, hey, where are you guys? Like everything like that. But
yeah,
don't need to be posting every single day. Take a break, relax.
Jake, if I get any more relaxed, I'd be dead.
Well, I mean, I saw you almost like broke your ankle or something. So
there's a picture I meant to download it so I could show you of we were in Pompeii, and I was really concerned about Ellison because a lot of times she's not that stable on her feet. So I'm helping Ellison and making sure she's not going to fall because literally there's rocks for the road and they're just placed. Like the drainage system at Pompeii blew my mind. Like they were so far advanced, it was insane. I think aliens were involved. Anyway, so I'm literally making sure she didn't fall. And I put my foot down and I felt it and I went, oh, and it went over. And it was like not even halfway through the 2-hour thing we were in. And it was cool. The tour we took in Pompeii, we had these like funky glasses we could put on our heads. Should have taken pictures of them on our head. They look like Cylon
Can I
glasses.
Guess? So were they AR glasses so you could see what it would have looked like before everything?
Yeah, so it was. I talked to the guy that was there. Like we had our leader, our tour guide, but then this other guy came with us and he had his phone. And it was a program he ran off his phone that worked the glasses. And you basically watched a video
that's cool.
Of what it would be like as you were standing there.
Did they have people going around and kind of,
no.
Or was it just kind of like,
just the
this is what it would look like, the buildings would have fully restored and everything?
And no, they didn't have a video of the brothel.
I'm sure you tried.
Apparently we didn't pay that much.
Okay. It's too much information. But we have been talking about your trip for 20 minutes now, so let's talk about some news.
I said let's talk sports.
Yeah, I got distracted. It's fine.
Yeah.
Some of the news I know you kept up with because we talked about it very quickly.
Yes.
And the reason I added, there's a lot of text on the screen if you're watching on YouTube, but the BCLions added Colin Kaepernick to their negotiation list.
Explain what the negotiation list is.
I had to do some searching into this because I knew what it was, but I couldn't explain it. Basically, it allows BCLions to have first dibs on Colin Kaepernick to discuss things. The negotiation list was put into place because the draft is usually not people who go in the first 2 rounds of the NFL draft, and you put up to 45 people onto this negotiation list. That does not mean Colin Kaepernick couldn't go to Saskatchewan and sign a contract. It just means that BCLions would be given a heads-up notice that he's talking with Saskatchewan.
We would have first right of refusal.
Yeah, the way I understood it and the way I read it is if you understand the NHL RFA rights, restricted free agent, where, yeah, technically I'm a free agent, I can go sign this contract, but my team that holds my contract can match it.
Yes.
That's what it is.
But
But some of the information out there on the internet, and the reason why I wanted to put that information in to start this is Colin Kaepernick going to the CFL. No, that is not what's happening. Trust me, I'd love for that to happen. I'd love for me to say next year we might have Colin Kaepernick trying out for quarterback. But that's not the case.
The amount of people that lost their shit because Colin Kaepernick was put on a negotiation list. They didn't even talk to him. They just put him on the negotiation list. Was hilarious. Like, I was laughing, freaking reading Facebook. I was just howling because no way that MFer should be up here. That he'll take a knee during our national anthem and blah,
good.
blah,
That's
blah,
fine.
blah. Oh my God, people.
So we've talked about this before we even did the podcast, especially when Colin Kaepernick was doing it.
Yes.
And I'm all for it. I'm all for protesting. I think protesting is good. People who know me, who've been to sporting events with me, know I'm very big on taking off your damn hat while the national anthem is playing. Both the American and the Canadian national anthem, take off your hat. It's a sign of respect.
Yes.
However, if you're going to me, the hat, and I don't know why it's just been bred into me, the hat is the most disrespectful thing. Colin Kaepernick took off his helmet and took a knee. He was respecting the anthem, but doing something to make something known, to make a ruckus.
And guess what?
It worked.
Peacefully.
There
was no riots.
No, but you know what happened? He got blackballed from the league from it.
Yeah.
So, also, when Colin Kaepernick
he was horrible. He was such a horrible player before this. That's why he was blackballed. It had nothing to him taking a knee. You bunch of freaking people. Your mom's asking a question. She's making a statement. She says VA is doing awesome though.
Yeah. So was Travis Lulay until he wasn't. So was Dave Dickinson until he wasn't.
It's not like he's going to come up and take his. It's like the chances of Colin Kaepernick playing in the CFL is probably less than 5%.
Yeah, but to me, the big thing when I heard this and when Farhan Lalji tweeted it out, there was no information on if there was conversations. I was like, maybe they'd reached out and like back channel, and that still could be the case. There could be some back channel.
Very could.
Hey, would he be interested in if we give him a tryout?
Yes.
But to me, this would be the perfect time to have those conversations. Say, hey, come up now. Start learning the game.
Yes.
Hey, here's some footage. Go watch this and tell me what you see.
Yes.
Because then when he comes into training camp, it's not, here's the rules of this Canadian Football League. It's, this is our offense. Let's see if you can learn it and see where you're at.
Yeah, and the chances of it happening, people are so freaked out about it.
Look at Manziel. Like, everyone's like, oh, he's going to come in and take over the league.
Yeah.
Had less than a cup of coffee.
Good, didn't he?
Less than a cup of coffee. But, the CFL is a terrible league.
So this, I think, was... How do I phrase? What's the words I'm looking for? This was a Colin Kaepernick trying to get his name out there.
I don't think so.
Because before this, he had just penned a letter to the Jets.
Yep. And you know what they're talking about now? ESPN. They're talking about the BCLions.
Yes.
They're talking about the CFL.
Do you think Farhan might have been put up to this, or
do you think?
Hey,
do you think the BC PR team or a guy who, let's say, an entrepreneur of a tech company who likes to disrupt things, came out and was like, "Guys, this is an easy PR story," and all you do is to CFL head office. We're adding Colin Kaepernick to our negotiation list because no one else has him. Send. And he's been added.
That's all it is, people.
And then you shoot a quick little text message. Hey, Farhan, we've added Colin Kaepernick to our list.
Please retweet it. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Sorry, X. I think it's called Xing now. I don't know. It's
not tweeting.
It's not tweeting. You don't quote tweet anything anymore or retweet. You repost.
See, this was really difficult this last 2 weeks.
Because you kept going to X instead of Twitter?
Well, Celebrity. We're on the ship. Celebrity is the name of the company. Guess what their sign is? That's their logo on all the ships. Guess what their app is? They have an app. Did you know that?
Oh, you've showed me this before.
It's,
I think you showed. I think you tried to show the
it's an
audience.
X.
So you go to either one, and it's the wrong one.
It's like Jesus. So anyway, a lot to do about nothing. It got the big spotlight put on BC. Good for you. Good
and
job,
the CFL.
BC.
Not just that, and the CFL, because everyone who was talking about it was like, the Colin Kaepernick has been signed to a negotiation list, or has been put on a negotiation list for the CFL. CFL is a Canadian Football League. This is a bit of the history. They had Doug Flutie. And they'll talk about Warren Moon. They'll talk about the players that they know about, right? So
it's insane.
It's exposure. It's exposure. It's the smartest thing the league could have done.
Yeah. Sorry, I was tagged in a post and I had to look at it. I didn't know what the hell was going on. Jake's on the air and he's tagging me in post, man.
Do my best. I do my best to keep everyone, entertained. Speaking of good for the league or bad for the league, the Toronto Argonauts, their decision to rest Chad Kelly. Now, good for the league or bad for the league? I think it's the best for the league, really.
Of course it is. It's good for the league, and it's good for the Toronto Argonauts, who already locked up first place. And why would you put in your star quarterback with the cheapest team in the league, who you know is going to come after him? They're horrible.
Time out.
Yes.
Saskatchewan might be the dirtiest team in the league.
True. Yeah, you got a point there.
Yeah. I might be thin hairs, but it's.
But I mean, teams have done this for eons.
We just haven't seen it in a long time because there hasn't been a team as dominant as Toronto to have locked up a home field playoff position with this many games left.
Oh, but it's a schedule. The Toronto Argonauts have an easier schedule than the Winnipeg BlueBombers.
You're right. Because, So the Argonauts just played 4 games in a row without a bye, and they have another 6 games to go without a bye. How many byes does Winnipeg have in that the next 6 weeks? They have 1.
Yeah,
they have 1. Every other team except for the Argonauts have 1 still.
And ask what the Argonauts or the Winnipeg's record is against Eastern teams. It's not that good. Anyway, I think it's good for the team, or I think it's good for the league. I think was just a bunch of Smurf mafias, Smurfettes and Smurfies going off, and they sold their stadium out. And how dare they not play their players? Shut up. You barely beat them with their third string quarterback.
Not just that, but also, do you think the league was like, hey, we need the Bombers to win? Because, we'll talk about it in depth when we get into it, but this week's going to be a pretty big week. It's going to be a very big week.
It's going to be the Western Division. Big week.
No, I think, again, just like the Colin Kaepernick situation, I want to touch on it because it was news, but it was news about nothing.
It was, look at my hair. I'm having a bad hair day.
Correct. Exactly. It was, look at my hair.
Seriously, that's what it was. Yeah. It was just stupidity. I was blown away that it was as much news. And it wasn't just on Facebook. Like, it wasn't just chatter and let's talk CFL. It was on reporters.
TSN was covering it. 3 Down Nation picked it up. And it's like, guys, it's good for the again.
If you're at the end of the season and you have the season locked up,
but it's not usually 7 games left. That's the issue. Well, Toronto's that good. They're 7 games ahead, and they're like, cool. We can literally, if I'm them, I'm playing second, third string quarterback and everyone.
Well, see, what I look at is smart move, Toronto. Remember the last time where I was giving Winnipeg a really hard time about leaving their quarterback in to run up the score on, I forget what team they were playing. Maybe it was Stamps. It was a long time ago in my brain. Anyways, and the quarterback got banged up. Maybe they should have sat their quarterback when they were that far ahead. Similar to what Toronto did. They had a really big lead. They have a really big lead. They can't afford to sit. Anyway, much to do about nothing.
Yes, I agree. I didn't make a bumper for it because I completely forgot. We have more preseason games. We've had preseason games since you've been gone. We've had Canucks games.
Somebody sent me a thing, of course, because frickin' Flame fans, that, oh my God, Flames beat the Canucks 10-0.
We discussed this last week on the show.
Did we?
Who cares?
Yeah,
who cares?
It's preseason.
Not just that, but it was also a very little NHL experienced squad versus the top two lines of the Flames. Don't get me wrong, 10-0 is embarrassing, and the team should be embarrassed. But it's preseason. Let's grow up.
So, does that mean because we beat Edmonton this week that we should be planning the Stanley Cup parade? Like, come on.
To be fair, we lost to Edmonton in overtime and beat Edmonton 5-2. So really, but in the game, to me, the highlight of the 3 games this week was that Canucks Oilers game on Wednesday, because we didn't play a lot of our big names, and we took the game to overtime against Connor McDavid and the Edmonton Oilers. Like,
yeah,
I know.
It's preseason. It's
the big thing I want to talk about is last week, me and DJ, we went through and kind of laid out our starting roster. I'm not going to ask you that. Yep.
DJ and I.
We went through and picked our depth chart or starting lineup. I'm not going to ask you to do that because you haven't been here, and I guarantee you'd be like, I don't know any of these players' names anymore.
I see the list of players that got sent down.
Yes, so I want to touch on that afterwards. However, the top pairing defenseman is so far, still to this point, with only 2 preseason games remaining, is a guy named Cole McWard. He is they signed him last year. He's college free agent signing, undrafted, playing with Quinn Hughes.
Seriously?
They've done a fantastic job, and I think it's the way they should do it for the regular season. They shelter his minutes by playing him with Quinn Hughes. And it sounds silly because Quinn Hughes is getting a lot of time, but Quinn Hughes kills penalties. Quinn Hughes is on the power play. If you really desperately need it, you can put Ian Cole in place of Cole McWard. And they've been doing that occasionally.
Did I not read somewhere, what's the new coach's name? Tocchet? Saying something as the defense is going to be played by committee?
Yeah, and that was basically in response to the people asking who's going to be that first, who's going to play with Hughes. Because it's the biggest question, and it's the question we've had since we've had Hughes, since Tanev left in 2021, I think, 22, whatever year that was, 21. But, basically Hughes has his main partner with McWard, but Hughes is playing double, if not triple, the minutes that McWard is playing. And they're sheltering him. They're putting him in an offensive zone face-off, which is where you want Hughes anyways.
Well, yeah.
And he's not killing penalties. To me, it's the smartest way to do it. Then you have Hronek and Cole on your second line, and Soucy and Myers as your third line. And that, to me, is the way you need to be running. Don't get me wrong, Tyler Myers has paid too much to be a third pair defenseman. That's where his skill set is right now. And that's not a shot against him. He's a NHL defenseman through and through.
Yes.
If me and you tried to lace up the skates and just watched him we didn't have to lace up skates. We were just sitting on the bench watching him play. We'd be like, this guy's amazing. But when it comes to that level of NHL player, he's not a top line minute eater anymore.
No, exactly. I totally agree.
He can kill penalties. He's got the long reach. And when he's not tired, I think he's going to make smarter plays. And hopefully we go from chaos draft to just draft. We can drop the chaos. He can be calmer. And I think Rick Tocchet's influence in the games I have been able to see has really shown that in the defensive end, things are calmer this year. It doesn't feel as squirrely.
That would be nice.
Plus, Vasily Podkolzin was sent down. to the AHL. He was waived.
Yeah. He was actually was he waived?
No, he wasn't waived. Sorry, he didn't need to go through waivers.
Oh, okay.
But there was a lot of hope for him. He started a training camp with JT Miller and Brock Besser.
Right.
I was really hoping that would stick, and it's just not there. And a player you picked, I think he's a top 10 pick.
I'm pretty sure he is. Yeah.
It's at this point it's really disheartening because we've seen blips of that skill that just don't.
Well, that's what I keep
stick
thinking.
around.
Every once in a while, you'll see him like shine, and then it's like, okay.
So, listening to Canucks talk on Sportsnet 650 down in Vancouver, they're talking about it, and the Thomas Drance, who also writes for The Athletic, very well connected. He believes that the issue with Podkolzin is that he's never had a consistent line, ever.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So he's hoping, and the vibe he was giving out was that they're going to put him in the AHL,
yeah,
and give him that line and say, "Let's go, get your confidence." If it takes you an entire season to get the confidence, great. They're not edibles. They look like edibles, but they're not.
That's exactly what I thought they were.
I did literally. I bought the. So for those not watching on YouTube,
not watching the show, I'm holding up food that Jake left on my desk when he stayed at my house.
I was walking through Walmart and I saw because there's a big 3G on the front, and I was like, 3 grams. Like I was like, since when did Walmart start selling like edibles? They're just like low sugar snacks, and they taste exactly how you think they would. Gross.
Okay, I won't eat them then.
But yeah, that's really everything I had to talk about with the Canucks. I know you've
been.
When
does the season start? Like the regular season?
Wednesday, October 11th.
So it's coming up 9 days.
9 days away. JT Miller days away.
9 days away.
Which is why I'm going to plug it again for those who weren't here. We're going to have Matt Sakaris on the show next week on the 9th, 2 days before puck drop on the season.
How cool is that?
Smart thinking, because I think ahead. When scheduled.
Now, is it going to be live or?
No, more than likely not. It will be our first ever pre-recorded interview. So we'll speak with him earlier in the day, which is why I want to make that event, because I like having questions brought in from the audience. If there are any questions for Matt Sakaris, I'm going to create the group. Please do post in it. If you have any questions for him in the comments, leave the comment now or whenever you're watching this. And I'll pose a couple of the questions to him because, again, we're a fan podcast. We know what it's like to want to have a voice. And when people read your comments out on a show, it feels good. So that's why we do it. What we do.
Feels good.
It feels good.
Feels good. Boo-doo-doo-doo-doo. I knew that it would now.
DJ mentioned doing it by committee, talking about Quinn Hughes on defense, like a baseball team with a bunch of good relief pitchers.
Yeah.
That's exactly what Quinn Hughes needs, because Quinn Hughes can play 30 minutes a night. I don't want him to. I'd much rather him play 20 minutes a night, but he could play 30 minutes a night and split that with 3 different partners. There's no issue with that.
Yeah, exactly. No.
Yeah. Any other words on the Canucks before we jump into reviewing CFL?
I had to laugh because Jake sent me a message earlier today, and he promised, and I guess he said it on the air, that he promises that he's going to stay positive on the Canucks all season long.
No, that is not what I said. You're adding extra words.
Well, what does it mean then?
I'm going to go into the season with a positive, optimistic attitude, which means we lose a game, especially when you lose 10-0. I could have gone on a diatribe on a 10-0 loss in preseason, and I chose not to. I became bigger, and I'm going to be positive. I'm not going to be my normal narcissistic, waiting for the bridge to collapse when it comes to narcissistic, pessimistic. Jesus Christ. Pessimistic.
I was going to leave narcissistic
pessimistic
in there. I liked it.
That one brick will crumble and the entire team will collapse self.
I'm reading, and I'm going to read
Quote
it
tweet it
verbatim. I
verbatim.
also made a promise to the audience. That's you guys. I'm going to try and stay positive with the Canucks, not just
Try
going into the season.
try to stay positive. If they start the season again and go on a 0-5 run, yeah,
Oh
I'm
God.
going to tear into them. If they No, we're staying positive. We're going to come out of the gate. The hardest game that we can play is the first two games we play this year.
Who is it?
The Oilers.
Back to
Oilers
back?
at home. Oilers at home on the 11th. Oilers in Edmonton on Saturday.
We're going to get our asses handed to us.
I don't think so.
You don't think so? You think the
I don't
Canucks
think
going to have a team this year? I hope you're right.
I really
God,
do. And
I hope
it's
you're right.
like
You can't
again,
see it, but I'm running my hand, my thingy.
Cursor?
Huh?
Your cursor?
My cursor over my Canucks logo, because I just hope they have a good team this year.
You know what good is I just want fun hockey and I want positivity, because the last 2 years we've had nothing but negativity in the early part of the season with losses, the handling of Bruce Boudreau and that situation. Oh, let's not forget the year before that, the handling of Travis Green situation. Oh, and then there was also allegations against our owner, which still have yet to be proven in court, and the NHL said nothing about. Let's not forget about that, guys. There are allegations from his kids.
This is Jake being positive.
But the on ice is great. No, I will say this. I will be positive from Patrick or from Jim Rutherford down. Jim Rutherford down, positive. We have a team that I think very easily could be finishing the top 3 in the Pacific.
I think we can make the playoffs.
Yeah, top 3 in the Pacific would make sure you make the playoffs. Like I think wild card is a definite viability or a definite reality. I think top 3 is doable because you've got Edmonton, you've got Vegas, and then everyone else is a crapshoot.
So what do we call, as we finish up with the Canucks?
Yep.
What do we call a success this season?
First round home playoff games. Really, like in my opinion, even if it's a first round exit, that's a positive move, because this core of players has never played a game at home in the playoffs.
Maybe that's a great question to ask Matt next week as well.
I definitely think it is, because I think, again, in my opinion, and I am someone who's just a fan watching from the outside, this core, if they don't play well, if things are again falling off, the wheels are falling off in the first month again, you have to blow it up. You have to. There's no other answer. You fired 2 coaches.
Well, haven't they pretty much? Well, I guess they haven't really blown it up, have they? I was going to say, haven't they really blown it up? But not really.
Bo Horvat, really. Like they made a big move, and I'm still hoping that's the light at the end of the tunnel for someone like Pettersson and Hughes and Miller, who like playing with these guys from all accounts, or some of these guys, anyways.
Your mother says, "Be positive."
I am being positive. This is a great team on paper. I would put this team against any other team in the Pacific, excluding Vegas and the Oilers.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. To me, those are the 2 who are in 1-2, and then you've got
So
Calgary.
you really think we could finish 3rd?
Yep, I do.
Wow.
Because I think Vancouver, with, again, Thatcher Demko and Swayman as your goaltending duo, you have a bona fide starter and you have a bona fide backup.
Yeah.
You've got support for Quinn Hughes. You've got Ian Cole and Hronik on your second pair. Tyler Myers and Susi on your third pair. Those guys are solid. All 4 of them are solid NHL defensemen. There's one question mark on the defensive end with who's going to play with Hughes. I think McWard is the right decision for now. But as we get into the regular season, if things fall off, we have options to throw in there.
Where's what's the word I'm looking for? The drop deadline. Like, where is that? You have to show that you're a contender is it by Christmas?
No, American Thanksgiving.
American Thanksgiving.
There's been one team that was outside of a playoff position by American Thanksgiving that made the playoffs that year. And it was the Blues when they fired their coach and went on the run of a lifetime and ended up winning the cup.
Yes.
So
Okay.
I think it's going to be fun because you've got LA, who I think are set for a step back. You've got Calgary, who's set for a step forward with a new coach and a new atmosphere. And then you've got the Canucks. Arizona's not going to be a competitive team. Anaheim's not going to be a competitive team. San Jose's not going to be a competitive team. So you've got 3 teams fighting for one guaranteed position, and then in the Central for the wild card.
Right.
To me, Vancouver has an advantage on the top end talent over, like, the forward top end talent over Calgary and the Kings. They have a disadvantage at top end talent in the defensive end, defensively.
Yeah.
Who's going to win? And it's really who's going to win that end. Can Rick Tockett's system, a defensive based system, work with the forward group that we have? Because if it does, we're not going to see a bunch of 8-3 games like we saw last year. It's going to be a bunch of 2-1, 2, 3-2 games.
As long as we get a W.
I had a lot of fun last year watching Bruce's system. Didn't get us anywhere.
Yeah.
If I'm bored watching the game, but we get the win, I'm bored watching the game and we get the win, and I'm excited because we're getting playoff hockey. End of story.
And once you're in the playoffs, anything can happen. That's why I love the beginning of the season, because right now, anybody can win the cup.
32 teams have their eyes on getting into the Lord
Anybody
Stanley
can win the
playoffs.
cup. When's the last time a team's won a cup back to back?
Recently. Tampa Bay.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay. So that doesn't happen that often.
No, it's like I want to say it was 21-22.
Could be. Let's move to the CFL.
Yes, we had a very interesting week in the CFL. This first game I was not able to watch. I was able to watch some of the highlights. I don't know if you've, the old man, because you were gone, CFL on YouTube. We brag on CFL media a lot. CFL YouTube, one day after the game, has a 10 to 15 minute video showing all the highlights of the every important moment of the game.
Seriously?
Seriously, I would recommend it.
Oh, you should have told me that when I was away.
My brain was focused on like actual work today. I know it's shocking.
I haven't called you that in a long time.
It's true. It's because I'm usually on top of things lately.
So Winnipeg beat up on the Argos.
No, they didn't. No, they did not. They did not beat up upon. They were losing. Right before the Lions game started is when they finally pushed it in to take a 28-21 lead. And then the Argos put in their third string quarterback. It's a 10-point game.
They barely beat their third string, second string quarterbacks. And I believe they sat a lot of other players as well, not just Kelly.
Yeah,
from what I read.
I believe, like, from my understanding, and again, because I didn't watch the game, it's very hard for me to know exactly what's going on.
Yeah.
Is they were kind of rotating a lot of their backups in at different positions throughout the game. So it wouldn't be a full backup squad, but it would be like second unit running back, first unit receivers. And then the next series would be different, moving some guys around to see different things. Might as well. You've got 7 weeks to prepare for the Grey Cup, or
not give Winnipeg the opportunity for any scouting.
Wait, that might be an actual strategy.
Brilliant.
You don't play a team, and you have I would say a 50% chance of seeing Winnipeg in the Grey Cup.
Yeah,
really, like.
It's going to be. Let's face it. Argos are going to make it through the East. It's going to be Winnipeg, BC.
Anything's possible, so I don't want to say for sure, but I'm going to say a 49% BC, 49% Winnipeg out of the West, and 2% Saskatchewan. I'm going to go with you're not going to show Winnipeg your starting offense because you haven't played them all year.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's video of them. Don't get me wrong, but video versus actually seeing it live and seeing the adjustments being made, completely different.
Exactly. Mafias were just, the Smurf Mafia was just like,
honestly, and I'm going to say this, it's going to sound terrible because we're on social media. You should follow us on everywhere. I took a break from social media basically this week, and I watched the games and I enjoyed all of them. I didn't care what was happening. I
yeah,
enjoyed the games that I watched. It was fun.
CFL's a fun game to watch. Come on.
However, these doubleheader games,
I love them.
I like them. I don't love them because how do you not give yourself a half-hour buffer space in a contact sport such as football? Because not this week, last week, I knew I wasn't going to be there. I had football until late, so I recorded both games. I got home and I wanted to watch the Lions game. Go to the Lions game. For the first 20 minutes, it's not the Lions game because the other game had run over.
Oh.
They cut to the Lions game. It's the end of the first quarter.
But you could have watched it on a different channel?
If I was home, yeah.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
I recorded it. How am I supposed to know? I even on the BC game, I gave an extra hour of overrun just in case overtime happens, crazy things happen. Fix your shit, TSN.
Wow, he's kind of grumpy tonight.
Got DJ pulling up the stats here, by the way. We'll go back to that at the end of the podcast here. Then we go into the Friday night game in which the old man talked about he listened to, and the BCLions win at home against the Saskatchewan Roughriders by a score of 26-33.
And let's face it, the score doesn't give the game justice. BC dominated most of the game. And yeah, of course, I'm a BC fan. I even held up the right hand this time. Did you notice that?
I did. That's why I was giving you a clap. Well, to be fair, it's because you swapped the flags.
I did. I swapped.
Yeah, that's why you almost got it wrong. See, I'm covering
it for you. That's right. Yeah. But in all reality, BC allowed Riders to score a touchdown at the end of the game because they were probably sitting half their players, because that's what you do when you've got a big lead. And a really important game coming up. So it was good to see BC actually play above the team they're playing rather than play down to the team they're playing, which they tend to do.
Now, it's something we see a lot, especially with the BCLions. Is that because the team is good enough and they know that?
Yes.
Is that we don't need to not mentally they go out there and they're like, we're not going to play 100%, but they get out there and they're like, well, that was easy. Do we really need to go 100%? And they take it down and then they start getting pushback and then they have to turn it up again. Is it? I'd love to. That's another question. If we ever have Mr. Bruce back on, Arlen Bruce,
we could have him on
to ask him, because to me that's what it seems like. Is that especially someone like VA3, who you can tell is very emotional when he's playing the game, when he's in the zone, and then there are times where it's just like I don't know if it's just me being hypocritical and watching, and he's just very calm, and I'm not a calm person when I'm watching sports. So
I blame your mom.
When he walks off, he's like calm and relaxed, and I'm like, you just threw an interception. Why aren't you beating yourself up? And he's a pro athlete. He knows what he's doing better than I know what I'm doing. Steady, exactly. But then when he goes and throws a big bomb, he's celebrating, and it's like it doesn't compute to me, because it's the same. It should be the same but opposite reaction.
Yes, I know what you're saying.
No, it's going to be a very, very fun game this upcoming week. Let's talk about this game coming up, because
do you want to talk about that, or do you want to talk about the last game?
Let's talk about the last two games. Montreal Alouettes showed up and just had their way with Ottawa. There's no 32-15. It wasn't close. It wasn't and I get it. The Red Blacks are down to their third string quarterback.
But
let's not forget that.
But they're from top to bottom. They're just like you said. Red Blacks just aren't that good. They
They
really
aren't
aren't.
like, and that's from coaching, from player management, and there've been injuries. I get it. Don't get me wrong. Dustin Crum, I think, could be a very good quarterback in the CFL,
Oh yeah,
but he needs people around him.
he needs an offensive line. He needs a receiving core. He needs a running back or two. Yeah,
He needs a coach who doesn't make wild decisions.
it's yeah.
Now, did you see in this game the onside punt?
I did. That is one that hasn't been used, and I've seen it before. And
It
I
is
want
the
to say it was a playoff game I saw it in.
it is the dumbest play ever invented in the CFL, and it makes the league look like a joke.
But how is it different, an onside kick, than a punter kicks the ball, runs down the field, and retrieves it?
He got yards gained. That's my issue with it. To me, the onside punt is a great move. If you punt that ball up and you kick it high, and either you have a guy behind you that's full sprints, or your full sprint to get that ball first, that's fine. I'm cool with that. The fact that it was second down, and because the ball was thrown to him in a forward pass, and he punted that ball, that's a change of possession. He now grabs that ball. It's now first down. That's the problem with the rule, in my opinion, because
No,
he didn't get yards weren't gains.
but that's what makes the CFL so damn unique and so damn cool to watch, because there's rules in there that people don't even know about. I mean, that play hasn't been used in 20, 30 years probably. I can't think of
I
the
want to
last
say
time.
I don't ever remember it being used. When it happened, I literally got on the text message and messaged some people and was like, "How did this happen?" And the ruling technically is when the ball connects with the guy's foot in that specific instance, that is a change of possession
Yes.
because of the wording of the rules,
As long as that ball crosses the line of scrimmage.
which it did very clearly. But so you're running with the ball, right? You're past the line of scrimmage, that ball pops out and you kick that ball. It's not considered that. It has to be an intentional drop kick.
It has to be behind the line of scrimmage and kicked.
Yes.
It can't be kicked in front of the line of scrimmage. It
So,
has to be done.
But if you get the ball handed off to you, the ball pops out and you kick that ball, still
Yeah.
not the thing. Intent matters. It's one of the
Yes.
very few rules in football where, not very few rules, but one of the very few unique twists to the CFL game that intent matters.
I love that a freaking coach looked into this and went into the history of the CFL in a game that meant absolutely nothing and thought, we're going to do this.
Look, it's genius. I don't like the rule, but the fact it's there, use it.
You dumb not to. Now the question is, will this play be used in the Grey Cup?
No. Eastern or Western final? Maybe.
Why not?
Problem is now everyone's aware of it.
Yes. But if you can do it.
You need the right person. And I think, and I don't know who kicked the ball.
I have no idea.
But I believe he was a kicker. He was a kicker coming up through junior and high school. So he played whatever position, and a receiver and a kicker. So I'm sure they practiced it. This wasn't a whim. This was something they practiced.
Was a play that they, in a lockdown practice without the media there, they practice the shit out of that.
To me, this is one of those, if you have a practice facility that's covered, after practice, the special teams coach and the kicker and the player that's doing it, those are the three people who know what's going on. That's it.
Yes.
Not even the rest of the team doesn't know, because you don't want anyone saying anything. And then you tell the quarterback, call this, he'll know what to do. Hit him on a hitch. Because it was so expertly done. It was just wild. But no, I mean, the Red Blacks have a lot of rebuilding to do, as do a lot of the teams. Including the Calgary Stampeders, who lose in Hamilton by a score of 15-22. And I put Dave's not here, man, because It's a famous quote. Can you name the movie that quote is from? Dave's not here,
Cheech
man.
and Chong.
No, well,
I was originally where it's from.
Dude, Where's My Car? Brought it into the younger generation's viability.
Okay, I'll give you
Thank
that.
you.
But
Thank
it
you.
was originally Cheech and Chong. Dave's not here, man. No, it's Dave. Like I said, man, Dave's
Dave.
not here.
One of my favorite things, sorry, of Tommy Chong is that because he was on that '70s show, and they had to write him off randomly. They weren't prepared for it. He didn't show up to shooting. They didn't know what happened to him. He got FBI raided his house because someone else was using his name on marijuana paraphernalia. So like selling bongs and pipes and everything
really?
using his name. And so he was like, they had to write him off without intending to because he was ended up in jail and in like this huge FBI probe.
That's hilarious.
But I cannot see how
Up in
in any
Smoke.
way.
That was the name of the movie, by the way.
Yes.
Sorry, it just came.
How Dude, Where's My Car is the movie that brought it to with Ashton Kutcher, and I believe it was Cheech or Chong. I can't remember which one it was that did the bit in the Dude, Where's My Car movie. But Dave's not here, man, because I cannot see a way in any way, shape, or form that Dave Dickinson is still the coach next year for the Stampeders.
I think he will be the coach next year for the Stampeders. I don't think he'll be the GM. Because right now, you got to remember he's GM/coach.
That's fine. You can find a GM and coach.
Yeah. I don't.
If you don't, Calgary Sports and Entertainment is just slapping Stampeders fans in the face. How can you have a season go this horribly and not have any consequences? Not one coach has been fired.
I'm not going to go there. On grounds that might get me incriminated. I think Dave's job is pretty secured. Dave is one of the smartest offensive coaches in the league.
So is the Godfather, and he was fired from coaching positions.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think circumstances were handed to Dave that he had no control of, and honestly, I think being the GM and the coach isn't working out. I don't know how you could be both. How can you be your own boss? Because who does the coach answer to? The GM.
Yeah, but so then he just
have arguments with himself.
Well, no. So he obviously has someone he reports to, whether that be the ownership group or is Hofnagel the
president
football operations. Yeah,
he had the president of football operations, I think.
But it's like this isn't a new thing. Like it's Coach Buono was also GM for many years.
So but he hated it.
Well, yeah. I mean, to be fair, I think Coach Buono is one of the smartest coaches ever in the CFL. It also looked like he hated every moment that he was in, like, on the sidelines or in the booth. Like, he never looked like he was having fun until the games were over.
Who, Wally?
Wally. He looked like he was ready to chew someone's head off at a moment's notice. Because he was. Like, that's the competitive nature of games.
I would love to get and talk to a few alumni that played for Wally and off the air, because they wouldn't say what they really thought on the air. It'd be cool to hear.
And I'm sure it's we're scared of him because he's so well respected. He is I don't use the name Godfather, so
didn't we have this discussion before?
I think we had this conversation with Arlan Bruce.
Did we? Okay, because it's starting. My brain's going. This is
like I'm pretty sure, because he was talking about how he came back to BC, right? And G-Roy called him and said, "Tell Coach that you are in the best shape of your life."
That's right. That's funny. Sorry.
Yeah, the Tiger Cats aren't a good team either, but they're better than the Stampeders.
The Stamps are they've self-destructed. It's sad to watch such a great team for so many years. I mean, they've made the playoffs since 2005. That's the last time they didn't make the playoffs, and there's not a chance in hell they're going to make the playoffs this year. That's almost 20 years of making the playoffs.
Yeah.
Right?
It's,
sad. But every team goes through it.
I was going to say, you need to go through it. I mean, the BCLions just kind of came out of a slump themselves the last couple of years, where this will be the second time since 2012 that the Lions have hosted back-to-back playoff games. And before that, it was like a couple-year stretch, but it was every other year or every few years you were hosting.
Do you want to drive down to the Western Final if we get in? What possibly could go wrong?
We're all gonna die.
Story for another day.
I was gonna say, for those who don't know what we're talking about, maybe one day we'll just have like story time of all of our random sports stories.
That's funny.
Let's jump into next week.
Bixford next week.
Well, I'm actually gonna get rid of that little one there and do this one.
Oh, look at you go.
Week 18. We have 3 days of football this week. We have Friday, October 6th, the 4 p.m. game. The early game is the Edmonton Elks, the poor Edmonton Elks, going in to face Toronto. I think it might be a closer game than I expect.
I think Toronto's going to kind of show everybody what they're made of.
Why? Why are you putting... Why?
You're not going to sit Kelly for 6 weeks. Come on.
No, but I think you give them the Blue Bombers game off for smart tactical reasons. And you give them this game. You might give them half a game off. Get the lead and then just let them go with it. In my opinion, I would give him this game because it's the Elks. It'd be fun to see a competitive game with your second team playing the Elks' first team. Yeah, and the Elks have been good recently. Like they have been, but Toronto's just on another level.
They're the class of the league right now. They're going to win hands down.
So taking that, your pick is going to be the Toronto Argonauts?
By 10 or more.
10 or more. I'm going to take the Toronto Argonauts. I'm going to say it's less than a 9-point game.
Okay. So I'm going to go over 10 and over, and you're going 9 and under.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the line for us would be 9.5. You take over, I take under. Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Then the evening game, the 7 p.m. game, the game that literally, and I'm not saying this literally in the definition of literal being not literal, because apparently that's a legal definition of literally now, literally decides who will have first place in the West. The Winnipeg Blue Bombers are coming into the BC Lions at 7 p.m. You had something to say. Sorry, I wanted to get that out before I forgot.
Nope.
Okay. It's going to be a close game. I cannot vote against the BC Lions in this game because they're at home, and the last time the Lions faced the Blue Bombers at home with home field advantage, they had a decent sized crowd. And what did they do? They held them to never scoring a touchdown.
They got 9 points.
3 field goals, just for those who... 3, 6, 9. 3 field goals.
2, 3. I have, back in August, I looked at the schedule.
You did? You were on the air when you said this.
And I said October 6th. It was after the Bombers had kicked their ass. You know what the funny thing is? Bombers kicked their ass. Bombers kicked their ass. Bombers kicked their ass. I've heard it over and over and over. They kicked their ass. They scored 50 points. We scored, I think, 7, 13.
I think we scored 13.
13. I said it then. Wake up. October 6th. Doesn't matter how much you beat us by in August.
We scored 9.
9.
Oh, no. Sorry. That's going back last year. Never mind.
It doesn't matter how much you scored in August. Because come October 6th, It's gonna, as my brother said on CFL Chatter today, it's gonna be someone's nightmare.
Yeah.
It's gonna be the Mafia's worst nightmare. The Lions are going to win this game. I would love to see them win by 50-13. It ain't gonna
14.
happen.
It was 14. I looked it up.
It ain't gonna happen. We're going to win. I'm gonna say by 3. And my God, I'm gonna have fun.
I want to see what the Vegas over underline is for this because or point spread is for this game because
I bet you they give it to the Bombers. I bet you we go in underdogs. I bet you.
I'm opening up oddstracker.com.
Winnipeg at BC. It's going to be a game. Then the next day.
Sorry. What do you... I found it. 1.5 points.
Oh, yeah.
They're not even saying a safety is going to be the difference in this game.
Do you think for a second I said I heard it over and over and over? Oh, we beat you by 50 points. We scored 50 points on your team. Blah, blah, blah. Do you think the players did not hear the same thing? Do you think they didn't read the press? Do you think they haven't listened to Smurf Mafia beak off all season?
See, and now this is where I wish
it will be.
This is where I wish the CFL would look to the NFL and make the substitutions. So the NFL a couple years ago decided that there were some games that when they made the schedule early in the year would not make for good TV partway through the year because of whatever. I wish that they looked at this and said, you know what? I love the fact that it's a 7 p.m. game Pacific time, but we want to have a pregame show for this because
yes,
give us half an hour, give us 15 minutes just to build up this game, and we'll move the Hamilton Tiger Cats Saskatchewan to the evening game on the Friday.
Yes,
and swap those two, or the Monday 10 o'clock game. In my opinion, it's silly to have a 10 o'clock game on a Monday, even though it's Thanksgiving. It's Thanksgiving, but why wouldn't? Again, this is we've talked about this before. Synergy with the NFL. You have your game end, and then you have half hour, 45 minutes, and it goes into the Monday nighter.
Yes,
but I'm taking the Lions. Obviously, this is. I actually work games on Saturday. I will be home in time to watch this game, and I made sure of that because I was like,
Friday.
Oh no!
Did you screw up?
I'm not going to be home,
folks. Hold on. I'm going to put Jake in the penalty box, and I'm going to look into the camera and say, what the living hell? He's supposed to be the host. I'm the co-host. He can't even watch be home to watch the biggest game of the year. Okay, he's back. So, what are you doing?
I'm checking my schedule.
Oh. Anyways, it is the game of the season. It is as big as we're making it out. It is as big as TSN can make it. Everybody's talking about it. Everybody has talked about it. Folks, it's 4 days away. I went on a rant many times over the last 2 months about how much the Smurf Mafia pissed me off. I've been waiting for this game. Lions, don't let me down. That's all I got.
And then we have a whole night to absorb that game. Let the trash talking begin on social media because, let's face it, no matter which way it goes, there will be trash talking. And I'm probably going to stay off of Facebook for the night just because whether a win or a loss, I don't have the time. I don't know how these grown men who supposedly have jobs can stay up until 3 o'clock in the morning replying as a troll to everything.
Oh my God, it's funny.
Then Saturday, an evening game, a 4 p.m. start the Hamilton Tiger Cats going into Saskatchewan Roughriders. I think this is going to be a closer game than it. I think this could be. Don't get me wrong. Winnipeg Blue Bombers, BCLions, clearly the highlight game. I think the Saskatchewan Roughriders Tiger Cats could be the game of the week.
What?
I really do. I think these two teams are very equal.
Are you sure these aren't edibles?
Yeah.
Dude, you're talking about
be,
the same week BC plays Winnipeg for first place in the West.
Because there is a chance, and we've seen it go both ways with both of these teams, that it's going to be a blowout one way or the other.
Yes, very much so. Could be.
Hamilton Tiger Cats, Saskatchewan Roughriders, I think is going to be a shootout, close game.
You know what's cool about that game?
What?
Is if the Riders lose and Ottawa somehow puts something together and beats Montreal,
we could still have a crossover, folks.
We could have, for the first time ever, first time, an Eastern team will cross over to the West.
And now, for those of you who may not be a normal CFL viewer, crossover, basically because there are only 3 teams that make the playoffs, the CFL has a rule built in where if the 4th place team in the opposite division has a better record than the 3rd place team, they can cross over and they'll play in the opposite division's semifinal. Yes. So in this case, it would be Ottawa crossing over
Hamilton.
and playing.
Hamilton.
Would be
I was wrong.
Hamilton.
Yeah, I had to look.
Hamilton crossing over. No, Hamilton is in 3rd.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Yes, you're right.
Red Blacks.
I was right.
The Red Blacks are in 4th in the East, but they would be 3rd in the West, so they would then cross over and play either BC or Winnipeg at BC or Winnipeg.
Now, the thing is, right now, the Rough Riders are 6-9. Now, you can't tie. You can't have 6 wins. You have to have 7 wins in order for the crossover to come into effect.
Yes. Okay.
So the Red Blacks have 3 games left.
And they need to win out, don't they?
They play they don't. They do because they only have 4 wins, so they have to win.
Yeah.
So they play. It's not you could have tough schedules, and then you could have this schedule.
Yeah.
They play Montreal.
Going to be a hard game. Yep.
And then back-to-back Toronto. Now, having said that, not that there's collusion in the league at all, but wouldn't it be funny if they went out? It ain't going to happen, but there's still a chance.
Hey,
they would have
never
to win
say
out,
never.
And Saskatchewan would have to lose out.
Which is doable because I believe Saskatchewan has a rough schedule as well. Not as rough as that, but still rough.
Oh, yeah. Oops. I blew that. So what I wanted to do. There we go. The Riders. Sorry, I was kind of quiet there for a sec. So they play the Ticats. Then they play the Stampeders. And then they play Ottawa. And then they play the Argonauts for their last game of the season.
So really, they need to win one of those games, and it's fine, and they're in.
Yeah.
And really, this is Saskatchewan Stamps is always a close game, no matter how each team are doing. Yes. Anything's possible.
Riders will make the playoffs. If I'm a betting man, I'm putting my money on the Riders making the playoffs.
If I'm a betting man, I'm putting $100 on the Riders to make the playoffs and $5 on that long shot chance because I'll make way more money on that $5. And then in Canada, we have this lovely holiday on Monday.
It's called Thanksgiving.
Thanksgiving, when it actually should be, and not in November like you psychopaths in the States have it. If we're going to alienate our European audience earlier in the show, we might as well alienate our American audience.
Did you just call 100 million people psychopaths?
Have you seen them? Have you seen their political system? Have you seen them?
Stop.
Have you seen what's happening?
Stop.
Monday, October 9th at 10 a.m. Pacific time, the Ottawa Red Blacks are taking on the Montreal Alouettes.
I'm taking Montreal on that one.
Yeah, I'm taking Montreal probably by 2 touchdowns.
Who are you taking in the? We never really talked about.
Oh, we never did. In the Hamilton Tiger Cats Saskatchewan Roughriders game, I'm going to take the Tiger Cats. Again, I think it could be a very close game. I'm going to take the Tiger Cats.
I'm taking the Riders on that one
because I want to see. I want that now that I know. Like I didn't realize that the crossover was that close to happening.
Well,
I want Saskatchewan to lose out just because of that. I'm not saying Ottawa's going to win because I'm taking the Alouettes in the Monday game, but if Saskatchewan loses out, there's a chance.
Oh my goodness!
Now, something we didn't talk about, so I'm putting you on the spot while we're on stream, an hour and 20 minutes in, where you're already so tired you're looking ready for a nap, because it's a holiday. Are we doing the show live on Monday? Are we going to move it to Tuesday?
Ooh, my other show is Tuesday.
Now we could also this might be an interesting thing. Do a lead into the Canucks game on Wednesday.
Ooh,
a one-time special Wednesday show.
Let's do that.
All right, we've just decided these are the type of conversations. This is a little peek behind the curtain of how professional we are. I realized it was a holiday and we're probably going to be having dinner somewhere for Thanksgiving. I have no idea when, where, or if.
Depends how many of us that were on this cruise are still sick. Allison's got a horrible cold. I'm coming down with a cold.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I had like a cough for about 4 days, and it's perfect. I'm perfectly fine now.
DJ says, I refuse.
He refuses what?
I'm not sure. I kind of look over every once in a while. Your mom says things I have no idea what she's talking about. But then again, we were married for 18 years, and I had no idea what she was talking about most of the time.
You're making me wait 2 more days for your Sakaris interview. Oh, that's a good point.
Oh, we have to do it Monday.
We have to do it Monday.
Good thing we have DJ keeping us.
We would have realized it. I would have realized it like later tonight when I was actually thinking and not.
We'll have to figure out a way to do it Monday.
Well, there's always a way to do it on Monday. It's easy.
Yeah. Well, we'll do it Monday. We'll figure it out.
Sorry, not sorry. No, DJ, we appreciate you. I thank you. He also wore his one of one Hughes Sports podcast hoodie on the show.
Did he?
Because he is the rightful winner of the Hughes Sports Bracket Challenge.
And doesn't he live in BC somewhere?
He does. He lives in... Oh, I'm going to get this wrong. He lives in Prince George.
Yeah, he does.
Yes.
Don't diss the mama bear. I told you, it's just random. I don't understand it most of the time.
I don't know what she's on about. Also, just to cover back to the facts that you're like, oh, we might not have any European audience. They're the second most... Europe is the second highest listenership. One country in Europe is the second highest listenership to our podcast. Canada's first. No. The Netherlands.
Who the hell listens from the Netherlands?
You know what? I don't know. However, I just want to thank you.
And I apologize for saying all Europeans drive like mother puckers. I said puckers. I didn't use the F word.
You did. Yeah. You did do that. But yeah, so we are going to be live next week in some way, form, or fashion. It might
on
be
Monday.
Really weird. We will be live on Monday. We will have to figure that out.
It's GJ with his VPN.
You know what, DJ? I appreciate you. At least you're honest.
Oh, that's freaking awesome. I love you, DJ.
So,
till next week.
I appreciate you guys coming, hanging out. Please do like us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all those places. Check us out at hughesports.ca because starting probably on Saturday, there will be a weekly post reviewing the Canucks games. I'm going to amalgamate all the preseason games into one post because, let's face it, they don't mean that much until the last couple. But every week, I will be putting out a post on a day that there's not a game. So if there's a Saturday, Sunday game, I might post it on the Friday or the Monday, depending on my schedule and the team schedule. I don't want to post it on a game day because I want to include as many games as I can in each post. Doing one a week for the entire season. And we're going to see the positivity. We're going to see the positivity start out here. We got a great season, and we're going to either see it climb to we're untouchable, screw you all, we're planning the parade, or it's going to descend into madness and everyone deserves to be fired and let me run the goddamn team. And you beautiful people get to come along on the adventure and the journey. Because every week, despite what the old man... What'd you say?
I said, feel sorry for me.
I'm gonna drag him into the sense of madness, or he's gonna be planning the parade with me. By week 5, it's gonna be one or the other or both, depending on what just happened the night before. But you beautiful people, have yourselves a wonderful night. Mwah, and goodbye.